Well, less than 3 weeks to go before the midterm elections, and the Republicans are now running ads in dozens of states, taking aim not at the president, but at House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And by dozens, I mean 47 states. Take a listen to some of them.
John Adler says he's independent, but Adler has voted with Nancy Pelosi over 90% of the time.
Is Nancy Pelosi right over 90% of the time? That's how often Chris Carney voted with her. Chris Carney, staggering debt here, sending jobs to China. Who's he working for?
So is Pelosi becoming a drag on the Democrats? Richard Socarides is a former special assistant to President Clinton and a Democratic strategist, and he is someone who says you do not mess with Nancy Pelosi. Something that I'm going to guess, Richard, a gentleman by the name of Roy Herron, who is running to replace John Tanner out in Tennessee, just found out the hard way. He says, as a Democrat, he says he came out and said he would not vote for Nancy Pelosi as House Speaker if she maintained her speakership. And lo and behold, the next day, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee yanked his funding. He says it's no coincidence.
I'm sure it's a coincidence.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that, you know, it's not her fault. I think, you know, the fact that she's become this very powerful symbol. Well, she's become a very powerful symbol of what's not working in Washington, that Congress is dysfunctional. I mean, John Boehner is actually a little more unpopular. His numbers are a little worse than hers. But because she's head of the Congress, naturally she's a target. But the truth is she's been a highly effective person. She is an idealist. She is practical. She's an enforcer. She's everything you want in a speaker. And, you know, the Democrats...
Let me stop you there. That's an interesting point. You are a Democrat. You work for President Clinton. He was beloved by not just Democrats, but by some Republicans, by many independents and moderates.
But not always.
Is she like Bill Clinton? I mean, do you think that Nancy Pelosi is a good face person for the Democratic Party?
Well, not now, obviously, not now. But, you know, things turn around. I mean, President Clinton was not always as popular as he is now. I mean, the two most popular people in the Democratic Party right now are Bill Clinton and Michelle Obama. And you're starting to see...
And Hillary Clinton.
And Hillary Clinton is very popular, too, but she's Secretary of State, so she can't really go out and campaign. But you're starting to see, today, you saw Michelle Obama do some campaign stops. Bill Clinton is traveling everywhere in the next 3 weeks. I mean, these are obviously the people that the Democratic Party is going to put forward.
But
and the president. The president is starting to go into campaign mode.
In the same way the president is now trying to demonize Karl Rove, he's the latest boogeyman, if you will, the Republicans are trying
for allowing those foreign contributions.
Right, oh, right. The totally unproven
Well,
charge.
you laugh.
Be
no,
careful, because we're taking up in Kelly's court whether that is defamatory.
Well,
it could lead to the basis of a lawsuit.
It's going to be, maybe Kelly's court can shed some light on that, because it's an interesting charge, right?
Well, only if you have a foundation for it.
You have to have proof in Kelly's court.
But here's the thing. Karl Rove is now the boogeyman for the Democrats, right? Is she the boogeyman for the Republicans? Like, is she just easy to sort of batter around? She's been a progressive. She's been a liberal. She's been everything sort of the progressive caucus wants her to be. And therefore, if you're not in that, you know, side of the ideological spectrum, is she easy to demonize? And that's why we say 47 states and Democrats. Some Democrats are doing it.
She's an easy target because she has been the point person for pushing through all of this legislation that's been unpopular. Health care reform, financial reform, legislation that I think once people understand better, they're still going to feel better about, but legislation which the Democratic Party...
When is that going to be, Richard? Like 2030?
Well, you know, I think, as we've talked about before here, I think the biggest mistake the Democrats have made, after they passed health care, they got tired of talking about it and walked away from it, and the Republicans kept hitting on it, but they failed to sell the merits of the health care bill, and that's going to come back and haunt them now. But you know, I think this all stuff has an ebb and flow. If the Democrats can hold on, and it's a big if, but if the Democrats can hold on, she will be back. She'll be back stronger than ever. Yes,
they're going to re-elect her.
I know that there's some talk that maybe not all the Democrats...
Are you saying that you're afraid of her?
I'm not afraid of her because she has nothing on me. But if I were a member...
So you think.
But if I were a member of Congress, I'd make sure that I'd stay on her good side. But she will be back.
Richard, whose bad side could you possibly be on?
Oh, I'm sure there are a lot of people whose bad side I'm on.
Not mine. Thanks for being here.
It's good to be here.
Pleasure as always.